Okay, ready when you guys are. Ready. Perfect. He's probably looking for parking.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming. Packed house tonight. That's awesome. We're gonna celebrate a lot of cool kids and teachers and athletics, and so you came to the best meeting of the month, and appreciate you all being here. I'm gonna call this meeting to order, and we're gonna start with the flag salute. So Amber, can you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
Just a couple of updates. We're going to be moving our athletics and activities recognition to the beginning of the superintendent report section. I will have a superintendent update for you after all of the fun recognitions. And I also just wanted to share that we have Eli Miller here instead of Michaela Nix this evening to do our Ridgefield High School update.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, I did just see, Danny, one typo on the notes from last week. It just says Director Jake Farnsworth on the very last page.
Okay.
So with a correction to that name, I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to move into superintendent reports, and we will be starting this evening with Brennan Shipley, our athletic and activities director, who's here to share with us about our winter sports and activities recognitions. And then she has to run off to a game. So.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here tonight as part of our district's awesome tradition, where at the end of each season, the school board and superintendent invite those who have earned a top 3 finish at state events to a meeting to be recognized and congratulated. So first, thank you to Dr. Rodriguez and the school board members for your continued support and for having us here tonight. This past winter, we were fortunate to honor several champions and witness some remarkable historic milestones. To start, we would like to invite our knowledgeable team and Skills USA participants on up to the front. We've got several participants that are also involved in spring events, so there are a few that could not be here tonight. So first, we have Skills USA, which is a club and extension of CTE Skills. Callie DeRude earned 2nd place at state this past winter for her Skills USA pin design. Congratulations. Like to highlight our knowledgeable team, which is an activity that resembles a team like Jeopardy competition. Team members Sadie Ford, Katie Hale, Margaret Turner, James Haddix, and Nathan Walker, along with their advisor David Jacobson, is here. They recently competed at the state level and returned as state champions. Congratulations to you guys. You want to take pictures? Go for it. Now's your time. Next, for athletics, we would like to invite up cheer, gymnastics, and wrestling.
Richard in the middle.
That
works. Thank you.
To start, we have our competitive cheer team now in just its second year under the leadership of Coach Angela Campbell. The team consisting of members Abigail Gurman, Beverly Flynn, Ella Bomar, Genevieve Castile, Evie Dryling, Haley Kane, Jaylee Bolin, Jacqueline Scott, Jenna Campbell, Lexi Bukides, Lucy Becker, Pippa Perry, Zoa Hill, and manager Nat Evans. They earned an impressive third place finish in the 1A, 2A game day division at state competition this past winter. Congratulations. Next, we have wrestler Lillian Houligard, joined by her coach, Bailey Taylor. Lillian brought home second place in state in the girls 2A division at the MAC Classic this winter. She also made history as the first female in Ridgefield High School history to advance to the state finals for girls wrestling since the sport became officially sanctioned. Congratulations, Lillian. Next, we have gymnastics, joined by Coach Richard Samuels, where Evie Dryling brought home third place for her floor routine. And Lexi Bukides also made history with an impressive performance on the uneven bars to earn the first ever state championship for gymnastics. I'd also like to recognize Coach Richard Samuels here in the middle, as he was chosen as the All-State Coach of the Year and also inducted to the Washington State Gymnastics Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Everyone, yep, let's squeeze in and try to have a picture.
There we go.
They know how to
really well.
The audience is part of the cheer squad too.
You guys want to stay here? Oh, or do you want to?
Thank you again for inviting us here tonight. And I did want to give a quick shout out to all of our members in the audience, teachers included, but to our families of these student athletes and students involved in our activities. And of course, to all of our students for all of their hard work and dedication to their programs. So thank you and congratulations, you guys.
Thanks, Brandon.
We have the update, but you want to do kids first? Yep. Yeah, sorry, you gotta sit down, get up, sit down, get us a little dance we do. Next up, we have Eli Miller from the high school for our Ridgefield High School update.
Sorry, I've never really used a mic before, so I'm just gonna get adjusted to this real quick. But as I get started, my name is Eli, and I'd like to give a quick thank you to President Jones, Superintendent Dr. Rodriguez, and the rest of the board for having me. Looking forward to giving a little bit of a recap as to what we've been doing at the high school. First off, presenting our prom for this year with our theme Wish Upon a Star, which is going to be held on May 10th. From 8 to 11. It's going to be at the Melody Ballroom in Portland, which I personally got to go on tour with a few of my classmates, which was an amazing opportunity, and I'm really glad that I got to go and see where the fun for this year is going to get hosted. Next up is a new committee that we're introducing this year over at the high school called Charity Water. All profits from fundraisers from this organization will go to an organization called Charity Water, and 100% of their profits go to giving clean water to all around the world. A fellow classmate of mine, Ella Dallin, was inspired by a video on water pollution and decided that she wanted to step up and make a difference in our community and around the world. Clean water is taken for granted a lot in our community, and I think it's a good reminder that we can be helping out, not just in our community, but everywhere, and we can make a difference. And the first event going underway for this committee will be a 5K water run, which I hope to see a lot of you guys at. Lastly, we have a unified prom recap. This went really well for our students and everybody a part of unified prom, not just for our school, but as well as Woodland and the Center got to participate in this. It was a great activity that I didn't get to personally be there for, but I heard that it was great, and a lot of members from our NHS and Life Skills program got to take to the dance floor and had a great time. As I wrap up, one more thing I wanted to quickly highlight is today ASB got to drop off over 1,000 cans of canned food to our Family Resource Center as a result of our Can Madness, our Can Madness competition at the high school. And so that was one great thing that we got to do to help out the community. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
Is it not wanting to work? Okay.
Okay. I know many of you are here to celebrate your student or student that you know. And so we're going to start first with our student of the month from Wisdom Ridge Academy. Please welcome our director of Wisdom Ridge Academy, Alan Andringa.
So Kinley, oh, there you are. Did you move up a row? So Kinley, this is how it's going to work, and I'm going to tell you so that all the other students of the month can kind of follow the same protocol. So I'm going to call your name, and then once I call your name, you're going to go to the back of the room and walk up the red carpet just like you won an Academy Award. And then you're going to stay here while I read the write-up that I already shared with you one time. And then once we're done with that, you'll be able to recognize your parents who came with you, and then one of you will have an opportunity to say something. If you want to, you don't have to. So I'm Alan Andringa, I'm the director of Wisdom Ridge Academy, and second grade student Kinley Flats is the April Student of the Month for Wisdom Ridge Academy.
Yeah.
After going to South Ridge in kindergarten and first grade, Kinley transferred to Wisdom Ridge to help her deal with her anxiety. She says being able to stay home with her mom and having the flexibility to travel with her family during school are two reasons why she enjoys Wisdom Ridge. Although she does say that she misses recess at South Ridge. Her favorite part about Wisdom Ridge is enrichment and seeing other kids her age, and her favorite subject is math. She also loves her teacher, Miss Pinkleton. Kinley enjoys playing piano and riding horses in her free time, and she hopes to go to beauty school to learn how to do hair after high school. Although her mom says that may change a few times over the next 10 years of school. Her teacher, Miss Pinkleton, says Kinley has an outstanding work ethic and a positive attitude. She also says Kinley demonstrates self-motivation and is a joy to have in class. While there are many exceptional students at Wisdom Ridge Academy, Kinley's enthusiasm and her commitment to studies make her stand out even among the most exceptional students. And it's for those reasons that we have chosen Kinley to represent the students of Wisdom Ridge Academy as April Student of the Month. Who did you bring tonight?
I brought my mom, dad, and my uncle and aunt, and my grandma and grandpa, and my cousin.
we're very proud of her getting this recognition, and we're really excited to see where she goes in Ridgefield schools.
So you'll go back and then we'll come back after for a picture with them. And next we have Early Learning Center.
He's sick, is Christina. I guess it's, can you read? Do you want to put your
There you go.
Sorry.
Let's give it back to the boss.
There we go. It's okay. It's okay. Little switches down today. So we are excited to recognize this evening someone pretty special to us because his mom and dad also work for the district. So we'd like to welcome Ashton Ship as our April Student of the Month from the Early Learning Center. Here he goes.
He found it. Oh, no. Too far, too far.
Good job, Ashton. Here's what someone said about you. Ashton is a wonderful and dependable friend in our class. He's always ready to help with any task and takes his role as a teacher's helper very seriously. His bright smile and funny jokes bring joy to everyone around him. He's a smart and curious learner who listens carefully and always gives his best effort. He is kind, caring, and a great friend who includes everyone in play and makes sure his classmates feel happy and safe. We are so lucky to have Ashton in our class. Congratulations, Ashton, as our ELC April Student of the Month. Great job. Yeah, no problem.
My brother and my dad and my mom.
We're so proud of you, buddy. It's so cool to see you up here in front of everybody being so brave. Thank you.
Next up is our Student of the Month from Southridge Elementary.
I am really excited to recognize Sophia Tucker as our Southridge Roadrunner Student of the Month. Here is Here's what staff had to say about Sophia. Sophia Tucker is an incredible first grader who shines in everything she does. She's responsible, always taking care of her work and helping others. She's resilient, never giving up when faced with challenges, and she is respectful, treating everyone with kindness and a big smile. Sophia is also such a curious scholar and guides our classroom discussions to help us all learn more deeply. We are so lucky to have her in our classroom and as a fellow Roadrunner. Congratulations, Sophia.
I brought my mom and my dad.
Dad, you gonna say something?
Sure. Well, thank you to the whole Ridgefield school district and community. She loves school, loves going every day, and good job, Sophie. We're proud of you.
To Brian Hine from Union Ridge.
Hi, I'm Brian Heim, Assistant Principal at Union Ridge, and it's my pleasure to introduce Union Ridge's Student of the Month, Balin Proctor. Balin Proctor, come on down. This is what staff had to say about Balin. Balin's dedication to learning and growing as a student shows in everything he does. In the library, he is consistently respectful, follows directions and routines, and is always a joy to have around. In music, Balin shows discipline and thoughtful practice. He approaches his work with care and accuracy and pays close attention to foundational skills like posture and hand placement. That's way better than me. Good job on that. Which is why I never made it very far as a guitar player, I guess. This posture and hand placement resulting in beautiful ringing guitar sounds. He also advocates for himself when he needs help, which is such a valuable skill. In art, Phelan goes above and beyond on his projects, applying new skills with creativity and intention. And when things don't go as planned, which happens in the creative process, he stays flexible and positive, finding a way to move forward. In addition, Phelan is thoughtful, kind, and works well with his peers. We're so proud of him. Congratulations, Phelan.
My mom, my dad, and my two brothers.
All right, would anybody like to say anything for Phelan?
Phelan, we are very proud of you. And we're thankful very much to the district and just how many incredibly supportive teachers we've encountered for all of our boys over the years. So thank you very much.
Up next is Sunset Ridge with Todd Griggs.
Thank you, Mr. Hine. Good evening, everyone. I have the honor of announcing the Sunset Ridge Student of the Month, and that is Ari Martinez. Come on down, Ari. Ari, here's what Sunset Ridge has to say about you. Ari exemplifies what it means to be a model student through her consistent demonstration of our school's 3 Rs. She approaches each day with enthusiasm and determination that inspires both peers and teachers alike. In the classroom, Ari demonstrates responsibility through her focused approach to learning and dedication to her studies. Her hard work is evident in everything she does. Ari doesn't just want to learn the material, she wants to go to the next level and understand the whys and the hows. What is truly sets Ari apart from her is her respectful nature. She's an active listener to others' perspectives, offers encouragement to struggling classmates, and serves as a a natural team builder who brings people together. Her positive attitude creates a welcoming environment where everyone feels valued. Ari's resilience shines through in how she approaches obstacles. Rather than becoming discouraged when facing challenges, she views them as opportunities to grow and improve. This mindset has helped her develop into a remarkable student that she is today. Beyond academics, Ari expresses herself through her creative artistic talents. Her artwork reflects both technical skill and imaginative vision, offering a glimpse into her unique perspective on the world. Congratulations, Ari. What did you bring with you tonight?
My mom and my little baby brother. We just want to say that we're very proud of you and very resilient. I call her my little dandelion because we are a military family. So to get her to get this kind of award is it means a lot to us because we do uproot a lot. And so knowing that she can grow and still excel in things like this is amazing for both her dad and me and sister, brother. And we're very proud of you, Mama. Love you.
Is Jen Johnson from View Ridge.
Evening, welcome everyone. My name is Jen Johnson. I have the honor of presenting our Student of the Month at View Ridge. Where's my girl Echo at? I distinctly remember our first encounter when Echo joined us at View Ridge last school year because we bonded over our time living in the Aloha State. And I am not surprised to see her standing up here in front of us today. So here is what your teacher said. Congratulations to Echo Kimball, our View Ridge Middle School Student of the Month. Echo's dedication, leadership, and kindness have made a lasting impact on both her peers and teachers. Here's what some of her teachers had to say. Mrs. Davis shares Echo is a highly responsible and hardworking student who always stays on top of her assignments. She creates a fun and inclusive atmosphere by encouraging her peers and making sure no one is left out. Whether working independently or in a group, she demonstrates both leadership and teamwork. Echo is an incredible role model for those around her. Mr. Nelson adds, Echo is a natural leader and incredibly kind. She comes to class every day with a focused, hardworking attitude. Echo is personable and always willing to help her classmates. In addition, she performs at a high level, making teaching very rewarding. She is truly deserving of this honor. Mr. Amble states, Echo is always respectful, responsible, and resilient. An absolute pleasure to have in the classroom. And Ms. Young remarks, Echo works hard each and every day. She is an intuitive student who is both creative and thoughtful. Along with being a strong student, she is kind and supportive to everyone in our class. Echo's positive attitude and commitment to excellence make her a shining example of what it means to be a Ridgefield School District Student of the Month. Congrats, Echo.
I did. I brought my sister, my mom, my stepfather, and then I have grandparents, my father, my stepmother, and my uncle watching.
Any of y'all want to speak on her behalf?
I just want to say that I'm really proud of you, and I know that you worked really hard for it too.
So we have Ridgefield High School.
There, I'm Tammy Kyle. I am an administrative intern at Ridgefield High School this year, and I am super excited to congratulate our April Student of the Month, Riley Adams. This is what we have to say about Riley. Riley's passion and positive attitude make her a standout individual at RHS. Riley's enthusiasm for learning and her dedication to success are truly inspiring. Riley regularly participates, asks insightful questions, and remains determined, demonstrating a level of resilience that others can only aspire to. Her commitment to learning not only contributes to her personal growth, but also serves as an inspiration to those around her. What sets Riley apart is her willingness to help others. She is always ready to offer support to peers who might be struggling, and she makes it a point to include those who might be left out. Her kindness and ability to lift others up speak volumes about her character. Additionally, her sense of humor and lightheartedness bring a sense of joy to every classroom, whether she's brightening the day with a song or sharing a smile with a fellow student. Riley dreams of working in robotics for NASA or in game development with Nintendo. Both of those career paths show the incredible potential Riley has to make an impact in the world. Riley, your work ethic, positive and caring nature make you a joy to have in class and an asset to Ridgefield High School. You truly embody the spirit of perseverance and excellence, and we have no doubt you will continue to achieve great things. Keep pursuing your dreams and always remember the incredible impact you have on those around you. Congratulations.
My mom, my dad, my nanny, my papa, and my 3 siblings.
Right, do any of you want to say something?
Yeah, we're just so proud of you, how much effort you put in everything you do, how you help everybody, and it's just an honor to have you sit down. Congratulations.
Okay,
Our employees of the month, I don't believe are here this evening, but or they are here?
They are. The mugs are not here.
Oh,
I had to order more mugs.
misunderstanding.
Sorry.
Failing tonight. Okay, we're really sorry your employee of the month mug is not here for you, but we have your plaque and your gift card.
The mug will come later.
The mug will come later. Those are a hot commodity, y'all. So first, I'd like to welcome up Jared Hunley, CTE teacher from Civic. Here's what colleagues said about Jared. There are times that feel like we don't deserve the talents of Jared Huntley. With teaching as his second profession, he has amazing industry experience. He's a creative and gifted graphic designer. Students in his class get real-world experience and opportunities to learn the craft. Beyond being talented, Jared is excellent with students. I know that when I place students in his classes, they will be well cared for and treated with respect. He gives students the courage to be creative and wrestle with the in-between place as they learn new things. Jared is a huge asset to our staff, and he helps in so many different ways, from course videos to creating visual products and any material that other staff may need. Jared leads our staff as one of the commissioners of Staff Fun, that's the official title there, Jared, complete with stickers and other memorabilia. Over his long tenure in the Ridgefield School District, Jared has stepped into many different roles. He's always willing to try new things, teach new classes, and when it was instrumental in creating a course in our CAPS program, before CAPS was even an actual thing. Jared is humble and kind and deserves all of the recognition he would never ask for. Congratulations, Mr. Humble. Bring with you this evening, sir.
Well, I see a lot of faces out there that are with me all the time, but I brought my wife with me today. She's back in the back of the.
Last week.
Hi, everybody. Jared's my proxy, and I expect you to talk. Keep it short and sweet. He's an incredible teacher. He's an incredible husband, an incredible dad. The school's lucky to have him. We're lucky to have him.
We got one more. Please join me in welcoming down to the front Megan Green, one of our speech language. Megan is one of our speech and language pathologists, and she is one of the most caring and dedicated staff members we have at Sunset Ridge. She creates meaningful relationships not only with her students, but also with those beyond her caseload, making every student feel valued. As a key member of the school's MTSS team, Megan steps up to lead social lunch groups, helping students with social struggles gain confidence and develop friendships. Her engaging approach using storytelling, interactive activities, and games makes learning enjoyable and impactful. Students make progress under her care not only because of her expertise, but also because they feel safe and supported. Megan's presence is felt throughout the school, whether she's checking in on students having a tough day, collaborating with staff, or bringing joy to the life skills classroom. Despite a full caseload, she prioritizes attending MTSS meetings, offering invaluable input on interventions and accommodations. Her commitment to teamwork is evident in her collaboration with special education staff, administrators, and the PBIS team, where she has contributed significantly to fostering a positive school culture. Even in the face of personal challenges, Megan remains a source of kindness and positivity, offering support and laughter to colleagues. Her dedication and compassion make her an extraordinary asset to our school. Congratulations, Mrs. Green.
I brought my amazing daughter Maddie, my dad, and the fantastic dream team that I work with.
Apparently not.
Well, when she was in fourth grade, no. love you, and we know that you give your heart to the school.
Stay, you just get to stay. Okay, every one of you that was a student or employee of the month, if you would come on down, we're gonna do one big group picture.
Sure. Sorry for the candy.
You gotta do 2 rows. 2 rows. All the kids get to be in front. You know, they're like, no way.
You guys can go if you want. Or, I mean, you can stay too. That's fine. Let's see. No, this. Uh-oh.
This was a student.
Oh, shoot. We'll make her a new one. I'll get her a new one.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you.
Chris, come on over.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna continue with superintendent updates. I feel like I should say like, and who did I bring with me today? One of these days, my husband will come. Okay. So, we're on the merry-go-round of federal and state changes. And so, just like I've done in the last couple of board meetings, just want to apprise you of what's happening at the federal level, as well as at the state level, and of course, some updates on our district locally. A lot of moving parts. So just since our last board meeting, additional updates that have come out. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon has canceled any remaining ESSER funding. Washington is one of only a handful of states that had already spent all of our funds and submitted for all of our reimbursements, really attempted to do that on the earliest timeline that was given. 41 states were previously given extensions to submit reimbursements, and they may now be denied even if they've put out those funds. So we have some of our neighbor states that are really struggling with that decision. Related note to this, the Department of Education is cutting off ESSER data collection. We're scheduled to have 2 more years of data collection. I got really excited at first for Paula because I thought that he was going to say today, OSPI, right, all, so you don't have to do it. And he instead said, you still have to do it this year. So OSPI is still requiring Washington. I know. Washington State districts to report this year, which is, it's called the 2025 collection, but it is 2024 data. So as all things state and federal reporting, it's well past when things actually occurred. OSPI Superintendent Rydell has said that they will not require reporting from states next year, so it will save us a little bit of work a year from now. Title I funding.
Jenny, can I interrupt you?
Of
Can you
course.
please tell everybody, including myself, what ESSER stands for?
Sure, ESSER, every something, it's the COVID relief funds. I'm
Thank you.
sorry, it's the emergency.
That's what I thought it was, but thank you for just confirming my assumption.
Elementary and secondary school emergency.
Thank you. Elementary and secondary school
Quote
emergency
unquote
relief.
COVID.
It's COVID
funding.
funds.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, it was money that was designated through about 3 different waves of funding from the federal government to support challenges that districts faced during the COVID pandemic, which, as we all know, we're still with those. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Title I, just keeping you apprised on funding. So wanted to provide some clarity. Title I funding is forward funded. So when they are talking this cycle about Title I funding, it's really the following year's funding because it is forward funded by a year. So the belief is that our Title I funds for next school year, 25-26, are secure. There would have to be substantial action by the legislature this fall to change that, and that's probably unlikely to happen. So really, as we listen to updates around Title I funding, we just need to know that could impact things in the 26-27 school year or beyond potentially. Title VI is another item that there's been a lot of topical conversation about. Title VI, for those who don't know, is tied to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So it's been around for quite some time at this point. And each year, in exchange for receiving those Title VI funds from the federal government, your state educational institution or agency, in our case in Washington, OSPI, has to sign that they are compliant with the law tied to Title VI, which again is that 1964 law. The Department of Education recently sent out to all of the state education agencies requesting a second signature for the current year. That would include acknowledgement of application of the outcome from the Students for Fair Admissions as FFA versus Harvard, which is not a brand new Supreme Court case. That decision came out a while back, but it basically says that there can be no recognition of race in college and university admissions. So now the Department of Education is looking to apply that there can be nothing related to race, basically in conversation, in teaching, in coursework, etc., in public education K-12. So OSPI has stated that they'll submit the form, but they will refuse to sign that acknowledgement. There was concern that if it was signed or if districts signed, that funding could then be granted and then taken away for not complying. We were advised today by OSPI not to do a separate verification from our district. So I know this is a thing that has been in the news for those that are following Department of Education news around this verification or what's happening with DEI work. And this is really what this is what it's tied to. For Washington State, we have civil rights protections in our civil rights guidelines and in Washington State law that protect people based on racial identity. And so if we were to apply that Harvard case in the case of public education K-12, we'd actually be violating state law. So we find ourselves again, as I shared at the last board meeting, a little bit caught in the middle between state law and guidance and federal executive orders and guidance coming out of the Department of Ed. Other federal funding, this is not directly going to impact us here in Ridgefield, but certainly impacts children across the country. Things like Head Start, Impact Aid, those types of funding are not front funded. So some of those could see program closures as early as next fall. had to make multiple slides this time for federal. We also are seeing some states requesting waivers from ESSA, the Every Student Succeeds Act. That is what came after No Child Left Behind, originally put in place by President Bush. So this has been around a long time. And these are the testing and reporting requirements that states have to comply with in exchange for federal funding at all. They look at things like proficiencies, graduation rates, English language proficiency outcomes, and growth. And they also require that state agencies, in our case again, OSPI, identify low performing schools. This was done really differently state to state, but in our state, this is where we have the Office of School Improvement, and you've seen some of our, like our WSIF, our Washington State Improvement Framework data. That's really all a result of the requirements of ESSA, and prior to that, No Child Left Behind. So there are other states that are asking the Department of Education to basically waive all of those requirements. There's also some states that are asking for all federal funding to come in a single block grant, which would basically, right now we have pots of money that are designated for specific students for specific reasons. And if that money comes as a block grant, that is going to free up states on how they spend those funds. There's also talk about utilization of funds for parents to pay for private education rather than that money going to public schools. So we're just going to continue to watch that. There's no talk within our own state around not doing state testing and monitoring our student achievement data. So we'll continue status quo in that regard with Smarter Balanced Assessment testing this spring. It's right around the corner for us, so we're moving forward with that. Additionally, U.S. Department of Ed put out a Dear Colleague letter regarding parental rights. Dear Colleague letters are considered guidance in nature. They do not have the same weight as a law, but they're often sent out as a way that will kind of herald for us what's coming likely from Department of Ed further down the road. And this letter really is talking about reinforcing compliance with FERPA and parents' rights. So a couple of things that they've called out specifically is ensuring that parents receive annual notification of their FERPA rights. That's one of those things that we put in our calendar every year. We have several things that we're required by law to ensure that we notify families every year, and most of those are done in our district calendar that goes out to all families in the district. Families also can opt out of providing student information to military recruiters, otherwise it is automatically provided. And the third one that's getting a lot of play right now is accessing their child's full educational records. And this specifically called out in the Dear Colleague letter documents related to gender identity. And they did this, I have to actually do their quotes, gender plans. I want to just be really clear, we don't have gender plans in our school district. We don't have that in our state. It's not a form, it's not a record, it's not a thing that we do. So I can't speak to other states, but I just wanted to be really clear about that here. There's a lot of conversation kind of happening across the states, across those educational agencies around what does a student record, what is the definition of that? Right now, there's general acceptance like that FERPA allows parents and to have access to their student records. It's typically attendance data, it's grades on their assignments, it's address information, transcript information, those types of things. It's not every single item of information about a child. So if a teacher talks to a colleague about like, hey, I'm working with this child about X, do you have some ideas on what I could try? There's no record created. But this Dear Colleague letter is really looking at potentially broadening or an expansion of what a student record means to include almost anything. So just something for us to keep an eye on. The Department of Education has opened formal FERPA investigations into the state of California and the state of Maine. You'll remember that Maine is also under Title IX investigation from Department of Education around athletic programs. In the state of Washington, we have civil rights guidelines that protect information related to gender identity. So just to be clear, when a student may request to go by a different name, by different pronouns at school, that's something in the state of Washington that's really a student's right. Even though they're not 18, it is not considered a student record. So there is a lot of discussion out in the world right now about this information and whether parents should have a right to be notified if their student reports or requests those types of things. And currently under Washington state law, the student has to give permission for that information to be shared. So at this time, we're going to continue to comply with our state law and our state guidance, but just kind of wanted to give a little bit more context to the conversation that's happening more broadly in our country. And again, all states are being required to submit compliance documentation by April 30th. And one more, U.S. Department of Education and U.S. Department of Justice established a Title IX Special Investigations Team, which they're calling SIT, which all I can think of is a dog, to investigate Title IX complaints. So on the federal Department of Education website, you can now file a Title IX complaint. They are getting waves and waves and waves of complaints from across the country. They are not prepared really to handle the number of complaints that they're receiving. They've also laid off large portions of their staff, like all other federal agencies, or most federal agencies. So they are now building this SIT team, which is combining investigators from the Education Department and the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to create a streamlined Title IX investigation and rapid resolution investigation process. They have said that SIT will have DOJ, Department of Justice enforcement behind them. We don't know what that means. There's been no explanation or definition of that. But I find it a commentary that's not official commentary, so I probably shouldn't say it in board meeting, but Department of Justice basically is investigate like resources into determining whether public schools are complying with executive orders that have just passed. So I'm sure they're very busy with lots of things. This to me seems like an interesting priority. Tumwater School District is officially under investigation by the Education Department for Title IX violation. In the case of Tumwater, it was because they allowed a transgender student to play on the team that they were playing at their campus. So it wasn't even their own student. So that's an interesting twist on that. And then more recently, Kennewick School District filed a complaint against OSPI and Superintendent Chris Reichdahl, basically requesting federal assistance and stating that our state guidance is in violation of now federal law under the executive orders and changes that have happened. Meade School District, if you're not familiar where that is, it's north of Spokane, and Moses Lake School District have also both requested federal assistance, but have gone short of filing an official complaint. So we're just continuing to monitor and watch. Just want you to be aware of what's happening. All of this, I would say, detracts from the work that we're trying to do with students, focusing on their academic, behavioral, and social emotional growth. But we also don't want to get caught not knowing what's coming or what's happening. So that's why I continue to share the information with you. Closer to home, legislative session. We are well on our way through our long session this year, but still a bit more to go. The Senate has outright rejected the House budget, so negotiations are continuing. The major sticking points are around taxes. So the Senate has proposed some changes and increase in additional taxes in order to fund some of the items in the proposed budget. The House does not want to see any additional taxes, so therein lies the dispute. We also have heard from Governor Ferguson's office that basically, and this is the word that was used, demanding $100 million for law enforcement hiring. The House proposed budget proposed $26 million. The Senate proposed 0. So we have quite a distance there to determine how that will happen. So we don't yet know if the Senate and House come to agreement around the budget and it does not include that 100 million for law enforcement, whether Governor Ferguson will veto the budget bill and make them go back and do it again. School funding impacts, and we've talked a lot about the big three around special education funding, MSOCs, our maintenance supplies, operating costs, and transportation a little bit less because that's less of an impact for us here locally. Most of the amendments tied to those things have failed or been withdrawn, so there is not a lot left. I was optimistic we would see some increased funding for public education. It is likely to be pretty scaled back from where we started with proposals in both the Senate and the House. We still have Senate Bill 5192 around MSOCs that proposes about $175 million increase for MSOCs. That's across the entire state. 5263 is the special education bill that's still alive. The House and Senate are in dispute about the multiplier. So you'll recall the last time we talked about this, the Senate was talking about eliminating the tiered system of funding for special education and just putting an increase in place and bringing everyone up to a 1.32 rate for funding for special education students. The House still had that tiered system depending on whether students are in self-contained 100%, more than 80% of their day or not. There's also a discussion around safety net reforms. And now at the end, we're hearing plans to eliminate isolation practices for preschool through 5th grade by 2027. So that will be, I'm sure, another unfunded mandate that will come down for us. House Bill 2050, K-12 savings and efficiencies. I love the word efficiency, and now I feel like it's getting a bad rap. There's a proposal to delay the February and through April apportionments to basically increase them or decrease them, excuse me, and then increase the August apportionment. And this is because our state runs July 1st through June 30th as our fiscal year. So and this is, I put accounting action in the notes. This is like, I'm going to call it an accounting magic trick that saves money by moving it from one year into another year. And Paula's nodding her head, so I don't think I'm off base here. And so when we say, well, we didn't spend that money in February, March, and April, it looks like we saved money this year. We just push it to August, and then that way it's coming out of the next budget year. So it's kind of this short-term way to have on paper a savings that is not a real savings. It's like monopoly money. The challenge with this is that it's going to cause cash flow strain for schools. We don't spend as much actually in July and August because guess what? We don't have staff and kids in session. And so putting a larger apportionment into August, one of our lower cost months, is going to create a cash flow strain for school districts. And the more challenged the district currently is around cash flow, the more this is going to impact them in a negative way. It will result in some districts that wouldn't have had to having to request loans, short-term loans from county government or from other agencies. So just something for us to be aware of. It's not something we would support. We'd rather see those funds earlier when our students and staff are here and actually there to use those funds up. And then the last one that's gotten thrown in more recently is Senate Bill 5041, which would provide unemployment compensation for striking workers. And I think it's probably important at this time is to remind us that teachers don't have a legal right to strike in our state when they have a contract in place. There's similar provisions around like emergency services, police officers, firefighters, and the like. But this would be something that would provide an employment for striking workers. So when you can maintain your salary and your health insurance, that's going to make it really challenging, I think, for those of us on the managerial side of the table. A couple of other oddities that have come up in the last week. A budget proviso was added requiring the Office of Financial Management, or OFM, to study consolidation of school districts across Washington. And the findings are due by December 1st. So in the next 6 months, OFM is going to tell us what money could be saved if we collapsed and consolidated school districts in our state. I think as a local school board, we should be very concerned about this potential impact. So certainly something we'll want to keep an eye on. And the other item that's come up is substitutes who work in multiple school districts, which is a common practice in our state, are now to be granted full medical benefits if they work a combined total of 660 hours for the year. No information yet on how we will track that, report that, or how districts will share those costs, because we certainly don't share that information currently from district to district. So some challenges on the horizon and opportunities, as we like to say. Okay, moving closer to home, even closer to home, 25-26 staffing update. Just a reminder, our staffing and financial goal was to limit any reduction in force or RIF to the extent possible while ensuring fiscal stability and sustainability. So I'm just continuing to bring this back to you as we're working through these processes. So our certificated staff update, this is really teachers, but lots of other staff that fall into that certificated category. We had 8 positions in our district of about 250 people who have that type of job who were displaced. 2 staff were placed immediately into open positions that we knew that we had from other resignation retirements. 1 was just moved into a 1-year leave replacement position because a staff member requested a 1-year leave of absence. And we said, awesome, we can keep that person now for another year. We have 1 of our staff that was hired into an administrative role, so no longer needing a teaching position. 1 staff that selected and opted to continue with the layoff. And then we have 3 staff that are currently remaining without a spot, without a chair in the musical chair game. I want to share that I anticipate all 3 are going to have a position with us for next year. We have a couple of open positions at this time. And so I think a few of these folks are going to likely to slide in, or someone else can get those jobs and then it'll open a job that they can take. And then I've made the offer today to 2 of the 3 of these individuals that should they not land a spot by the end of the year, we're going to offer them a full contract as a substitute. We already know that we have some staff that have requested leaves of absence, not full year leaves of absence, but things for like family leave, surgeries, those types of things. And so we believe we'll be able to have long-term placements for them throughout the year. So that will allow them to maintain their salary and benefits. We're able to do that financially because we won't be paying the sum. So the money we would have paid to a substitute, we now would just pay to that teacher who would be on contract. And the difference between the substitute cost and the teacher cost is not as much as you might think when folks are in long-term substituting roles. And they would work enough to earn benefits, so we can maintain their benefits as well. So I'm glad that we were able to come up with that solution so that they'll be able to stay with us in Ridgefield for at least another year. And hopefully something will open up by then in their field of study. On the classified staff side, we had, just as a reminder, 6 staff positions that were displaced. 1 transferred into a new position. There was a position bump. The way that the language is in our bargaining agreement is staff with more seniority can bump those with less seniority in the same categories. It's more complicated than that, but that's the gist. And so we had several rounds of that bumping process as we worked down the seniority list. So 4 additional staff were impacted. We've now finished that process. 3 staff that are being laid off at the end of that process. Actually, I think it's 4. And we have just 1 that is basically in a holding pattern now because I know they've applied for some other classified positions. So we're waiting for the hiring process to be completed. If that individual is not selected through those hiring processes, they'll have the right to bump, and we'll do another round of the bumping process till we get down to the end of that. I also just want to share, we currently have 7 open classified positions in our district. So while we are laying some folks off officially tonight, that was part of the consent agenda this evening and the personnel report. There are other positions in the district for which they could apply. And then last, administrative updates. So we have shared out with our families through Parent Square, and I know that there's some other announcements that Joe Weigart has been sending out on our social media about hiring decisions. So excited to announce that Tommy Malone, who is assistant principal currently at Southridge, was the successful candidate for the Southridge Elementary School principal. We have hired a new director of special education services for next year, Curtis McCon. Right? Oh, good looking. He has red hair and he's Irish, so I'm gonna say it in Irish. So Curtis is gonna be joining us from Mossy Rock. He's currently an elementary principal. Assistant Director of Special Education Services and Early Learning Services, Jamie Heim, who's currently at TOSA, and she was one of that staff that was displaced on the certificate side. So we're excited to get to bring her into her first administrative role. And then we also hired Dr. Charlotte Ellis as Executive Director of Schools and Leadership. This week, tomorrow actually, we have interviews for our Executive Director of Employee Services, which is what we're rebranding Human Resources to be a little bit more employee centered. We have our first round of interviews tomorrow, and then there is an open meet and greet session tomorrow afternoon from 3:30 to 4:30 here at the RAC. So staff and community members, board members are welcome to pop by and meet the finalists if you would like to do so. We're anticipating that it would just be 2 finalists, but you never know what happens in interviews. And then we'll have a final interview for those folks with myself on Thursday. So I anticipate we'll have that settled hopefully by the end of the week as well. We had an additional layoff. Last time I shared with you that we had conducted a layoff for our assistant coordinator of health services. We also have now laid off our director of technology. I believe we're at the end of the layoffs in terms of notifications. The only thing pending, again, is that one classified individual if they end up choosing to bump staff. I know that there has been some conversation. We had some conversation internal to the district with staff about the positions when we posted the administrative positions, with just some questions around how can we be doing a RIF of certificated classified staff, and yet it seems to be we're adding all these administrative positions. So I want to really clearly share the central services restructuring goal is to align administrative and support positions to identify areas of need. These positions that we have created for next year are really in place of other positions that we have not filled in the last 12 months, that people who are resigning or retiring at the end of this year, and folks who have been laid off as well. In all of the listen and learn, last board meeting, we talked a little bit about my entry plan, but I've heard a strong desire from folks to have more support in special education, more support in the human resource world for our employees. Just some of these things that we've kind of recrafted and repackaged the administrative work into new positions that are different, not ads. So the jobs that we've left unfilled, eliminated, people are resigning or retiring this year, those are listed in the left-hand side. So next year we will not have an assistant superintendent. We won't have an executive director of student services. We've repurposed this director of early learning into an assistant director position. More recently, our director of alternative learning is going to be retiring. So that's going to be repurposed into something. Our director of maintenance left early in the year. We thought we had an internal person to take on that job, but they're also resigning. So we are not going to fill that. We'll instead have a manager position, which is at substantially lower pay. Director of technology, we're not going to backfill. That was a layoff. The assistant director of SEO, has basically been repurposed. Our South Ridge principal and now assistant principal, those are just, we're replacing those. And then our assistant coordinator of health service was the other layoff. So those are all jobs that we've basically eliminated in the last 12 months, either for this year or for next year. And then we've repurposed those into the positions that you see on the right, some of which I just shared with you, that we just made some hiring decisions right before spring break, and those announcements have been coming out this week. And then the assistant principal for Southbridge is going to be posted shortly. And the ALE and Wisdom Ridge position, we haven't made a decision yet on what that will be precisely, but it will be something different than what we currently have. So we're actually reducing our administrative staff by 2. We have done some additional title changes, which we've talked about before, of existing staff to recognize their work. But overall, down by 2 administrators. And given that I think all of our certificated folks are gonna, really, there was one that took the layoff and the rest are gonna have spots, and our classified, we have 3 to 4 layoffs, but again, have spots available. The admin is really only that reduction. I know there's also been some questions about what are these jobs? We don't even know what to do. It's very hard to boil down what someone does 60 hours a week into like 4 or 5 words, but the first one, which is probably the least familiar for folks, is the Executive Director of Schools and Leadership. This is really our principal supervisor. They will work directly with our principals to evaluate them, provide professional learning, conduct walkthroughs on campuses, and focus on instructional leadership and individualized learning plans for each of our principals. They will be supporting their growth, and they're also going to be supporting our safety and security, our health and wellness team, and our counselors. So they're taking on a lot of those social, emotional, safety, health types of items. So they'll be the lead for those. They serve on my cabinet, and they have a key role in central services transformation, which we can talk about another day because that's a whole big topic. The Executive Director of Employee Services is really going to be our lead HR administrator. We have not had an HR administrator in Ridgefield. We're the 2nd largest employer in Ridgefield. We have almost 500 people that their livelihood is tied to our district. We need someone to run our place services division. So they really will lead that team. It is a team effort. We've got to have someone at the helm of that department. Their focus is really around building systems, supporting employee well-being and a positive workplace culture, and also ensuring compliance with labor laws and policies. They have a significant role in investigations and labor management negotiations. They will serve as our Title IX and HIB officer for formal complaints. They also serve on the cabinet, and they have a key role in building those strong supportive relationships with our staff and labor partners. Both of those I see as a really high need in our district. And I cannot wait to get these folks on board. I think it's going to make a big difference for our staff and for the functioning of the district as a whole. Our Director of Special Education Services, it is akin to the Executive Director of Student Services, but we've taken some things off the plate to ensure that this person is fully focused on special education in our district. There is a pay difference between an Executive Director and a Director, so just call that to attention because I know folks who are outside of public education probably have no idea that those things mean different things. The Assistant Director of Special Education and Early Learning will serve as the head or the administrator for the Early Learning Center that is here for our preschool. We are doing some restructuring of our preschool. We're gonna give it 110% effort, and I have full faith in Jamie Heim to lead that team to total awesomeness next year. They're like awesome now, but they're gonna be total awesome next year. She will also work with the Director of Special Ed, and really they will work as a team with Tiffany Gould, who's our Executive Director of Teaching and Learning. We cannot have an inclusive system if we are not inclusive at the central office. So that really is going to be a rock star team of people to work on special education services, because our special education students are general education students first. And then finally, Director of Career Pathways is really our CTE director. We announced this a few months ago, I believe, or maybe a month and a half ago. It's gone by, Jill. Jill, who's sitting in the audience tonight, Jill Ninehouse is our new Director of Career Pathways and Community Engagement. It is really serving as the CTE director for our district, having someone dedicated, and again, we haven't had a person dedicated to this role. The growth of our district, the growth of our CTE programs, we need someone who's fully dedicated to this work. There are also grants out there, there are community partners out there, but without having someone who can full-time really invest in that work, we're not getting access to that for our kids. So Jill is going to be busy getting all kinds of really exciting, cool stuff for our students and our teachers. She'll be working closely with our CTE teachers at View Ridge Middle School and Ridgefield High School. I'm also working with Joni Jaquinto, that you know, who works on community engagement. And I'm pretty excited. I started sending them random emails of things that I'm like, oh, this looks cool, this looks cool. So pretty soon they're going to turn off my acceptance of my emails. But we have so much cool career connected learning here, but there is a big old world out there that our kids deserve access to. So I'm just really excited to turn Jill loose on that work. So again, yes, these are new positions. They're in place of old positions. And I do really think that this staffing model is going to take our district to the next level. And I can't wait to get the whole team here. So the new admin, their start date is July 1st. So okay, I have one more. It's my last one. Okay, maintenance department updates. Chris isn't here, so I'm stealing his thunder a little bit, but Chris Griffith, our current assistant superintendent, has been doing the maintenance department administrative duties for several months now. And we are seeing a lot of things happen, which is wonderful. So we did a classroom maintenance and operations survey. I believe I shared the data about that previously. The department is continuing to process those staff comments, specific issues that were reported. Mr. Griffith reached out to those staff individually to say, I got your comment, this is what's happening, we're working on it. I think that was really helpful just for staff to feel heard about the concerns. We have a community volunteer that is going to be meeting with staff that rated their classroom conditions as a 1 or a 2 to just get more information about why. So excited to have that volunteer who's a parent for us and a local business owner who's willing to help us with this work. So it's going to be a huge add for us. Additional item, water quality update. So we had completed the replacement of all the identified fixtures from the water testing that was done previously. We retested. It cost a tiny bit more, but I thought it was important to test every single water fixture in the district for the safety of our children and our staff. So we tested everything, no matter what year it was installed. We tested more than what's required by law because I, again, want to make sure that people's drinking water is safe. We have 25 additional fixtures that we were notified today were identified across the system. And so Chris isn't here because he's out bagging, tagging, and labeling those fixtures so that staff know whether they can use the water but not drink it, or whether it's completely shut off until we can replace it. So we now will begin our second cycle of replacement of fixtures. Once that's completed, we will do another round of testing of those 25 to ensure that we've remediated the issue. So at some point I will be bringing back to you the water quality plan that you previously approved for the Department of Health, because we are going to have an addendum based on this additional testing that we've completed.
Can I just say thank you for testing all of, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that's important and needed to happen, and just, you got to do what's right. And thank you for doing that.
Yeah. It's worth the little bit of money that it costs to make sure that our staff and our kids are safe. And then the last thing related to maintenance department, we have been doing some restructuring, reconfiguration of that lone department, other departments too, but we have outfitted 2 other existing district vehicles that we had, just need a little TLC. So we got those set up with some standardized tool packages for our maintenance staff. We've now assigned those maintenance staff to specific limited locations. So at the beginning of this year, our 3 maintenance staff would all get in one vehicle together and travel to each site to take care of tasks and return to home base for their lunch and return at the end of the day and start their day. So we thought we could probably find some efficiencies with this. So now that we have 3 awesome maintenance staff, they each have their own vehicle, they each have their designated staff site location. And so it's really actually exciting because I can see them really taking some pride in the building that they are responsible for. So one example, we had a maintenance staff member who over spring break went out and got additional color matched paint and was doing touch-ups of paint. And it's beautiful at Southridge Elementary. So shout out to our Southridge maintenance man. Yes, so thank you, Mark. So I'm just really excited. I just really want to thank Chris Griffith for his work and really systematizing and bringing our maintenance department up to 2025. So really excited about the work that's been happening here and seeing that it's starting to pay off. And then as I shared, resignation from Chris Griffith will not be returning. He's congratulating me as a new role in another district for next year. And so we will be posting for a maintenance and operations manager. And also akin to that is our technology department. So with the layoff of our director, we have a manager in the technology department. So restructuring our operational departments with of supervision. So wanted to share those updates with you as well. Happy to answer any questions.
I want to say again, thank you to you, Dr. Rodriguez, and Chris, and for the maintenance as far as finding efficiencies, and because it matters. Doesn't matter if you're on the private side or the public side, efficiency matters. And then also that breeds ownership, right? And that's more quality of work, and so that's a win. I appreciate that being effective. That wasn't a question.
Thank you.
Anybody else? That's it. Okay, so board communication, Jake.
I'd like to first shout out all of our state champs. It's awesome just to see athletics, CTE, knowledgeable, all recognized, and just the diverse success that we have from our student body. It's inspiring. It's been the norm for what I've seen in my board experience. So it's just a shout out to all of our teachers, coaches, advisors, and the students that perform so well and make us proud. Dr. Rodriguez, I just appreciate the thoughtful, transparent navigation of all the staffing. I think you've gone above and beyond and just providing clarity so everything's out on the table for everyone from the community to the board to staff, to just understanding the why, and even though it's tough, that there's some great outcomes of people landing in new roles and getting moved around. I think you've done as good a job as possible. And also on this central services piece and just your cabinet, I think you took a really thorough amount of time to evaluate what you think the district needs and what you need for you and your team, and being willing to make major changes and put the right people in the roles that you think we need as a district. So I acknowledge that and think that's fantastic. A little unrelated from district business, but kind of connected. I had the chance to attend an open forum for the YMCA's Columbia Willamette CEO search last night. And I think we all know that the goal is to have a facility here in Ridgefield one day. And part of that is having great leadership that can help us from a fundraising standpoint and help us guide success towards a facility here. So I was part of a contingent with Mayor Matt Cole and Steve Stewart and others. Just to be at the table was neat to see 3 great candidates that hopefully we can convince to put some skin in the game and some effort to helping us, because the Y can be a great partner to our district as far as childcare and programming and so forth. So appreciative that Ridgefield was at the table. to be a part of that conversation. We should hear who they selected here in the next day or two. So looking forward to that. And that's all I have.
Donna.
Ditto. I would like to thank Dr. Rodriguez for funneling all that federal information into something that I can understand, because there's so much that comes out every season. It's a little overwhelming. So I appreciate those. And I'm excited for clean water. It's my favorite. I drink a lot of water every day, and it hurts my heart to think that our children or our staff would not have clean water. So
I would also like to thank Dr. Rodriguez for the legislative updates. I try really hard to pay attention to those and read all the emails and follow along on the websites, and there's just a lot, and every day it seems like there's so much more. So I love the little bite-sized nuggets of information there. Congratulations to all the student athletes, and especially knowledgeable and the skills center kids. And also wanted to special shout out to the gymnastics coach. I think that I read up on the bio of his induction into the Washington State Hall of Fame for gymnastics, and we are so lucky. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. So just an extra kudos to Richard Samuels, and I wanted to meet you today. You ran away. I grew up in a really small town. We didn't have things like that, and so I just think we're so fortunate here to have such an incredible program, and to have someone like that leading it just feels really special. Really, really proud of that. I wanted to do a shout out to our new admin leaders and welcome them to the district. I'm excited for where we're going. I think it's going to be really neat. I wanted to say I'm looking forward to our strategic planning meetings and the launch of that. The first meeting session is May 20th, right?
So we're going to have to change the date of that session, because we just found out that Identity Clark County is doing their Learn Here Hero. I struggle with that. Award ceremony that evening. They have typically done it in the fall. They're kind of changing it up, and it's going to be in the spring now. And one of our building principals is so we're going to change the date of our strategic session.
Well, there's a bunch of them, so come to the second one, May 21st. And then, kind of as a wrap up, Youth Arts Month was just incredible, and again, we are so fortunate to have such amazing community sponsors. Every time I read a post from the school district, it seems like Barbara Wright is in every single thing associated with the Arts Month, and just what an incredible person that we have in this community that gives so much of herself to our kids and our schools. And kind of in that same vein, Matilda the musical is coming. That's the high school theater production, and if you've been to the theater shows that they put on, they are just outstanding. And they are Friday and Saturday this week and next week, at least at one of the shows. But it's my kids' favorite musical, so that's my wrap up.
My turn. Sounds a bit like a broken record, but all the things that people have said, I feel very honored to get to celebrate young people who are excelling, educators and coaches who put so much of their heart into the work that they do in the community with really phenomenal results. So this is always a really fun evening, and also extra special for the state awards. I remember I think it was last year was the first time I learned about Knowledge Bowl, because that's, my kids are younger, so I wasn't, as a parent, totally in on that as a thing. And remember the coach last year spoke about his students in a way that was just such a beautiful example of an educator really knowing the strengths of their students. And so it's very cool to see them up here again. And I wish them well. They're not here anymore, but as they go on to nationals, which is exciting, and they won that last year. So really proud of our school community. Unified Prom, I got to be part of a glam squad for prepping for Unified Prom. So got to hear about the excitement of that event and just appreciate that that happened this year. And our students were able to have a really fun evening, and also look forward to ways that all of our school dances and other events can be ones that everybody can come to. But I heard from students who went that it was really fun. So that was very cool to get to be peripherally a part of, although I was not there. Lava Java, my coffee talk will be April 17th, third Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. Come meet with me if you happen to be free at the same time that I happen to be free. If you aren't and you want to meet with me, please feel free to reach out by email. I'm always up for finding another time to connect with people. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for clarifying around our staffing hirings and position changes. I shared with you earlier that I've received some questions, so just letting other folks know, you might have also received questions, but people also kind of like, what's happening? Why are we, so thank you for that information. I hope that we can also put that out in some other communications, since not everybody listens to our awesome board meeting recordings. They're so informational. They really are. So thank you for that information. I'm excited to share that out as well. And I think that's it from me. I guess I wanted to say one other thing too, is just appreciation for the hiring processes and creating opportunities for lots of people to provide input in the positions that you've been hiring for. So just thank you for that and modeling inclusive hiring practices.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been said. I do appreciate your superintendent reports. I echo what's being said. It definitely helps kind of give clarity to the words on the page. Because sometimes, I read it and I think I know what it is, but you just give a little bit of kind of insight detail that turns the bulb on for me. So I appreciate that. Outside of that, just, when we celebrate our students and our staff members, I don't know, I'm getting older, I start getting emotional, it's tugging at my heart. When that dad said something about, I about lost it, I'm proud to be your dad or you're great. And I was just like, I love it. So just, I value the time that we take to celebrate our district, one time every month. And I just appreciate you and the board supporting that time. So that's it. Okay, so public comment.
No public comment tonight.
So we go to old business, which we have none. New business, none. And then we're gonna go into executive session.
We are. We do have a need for an executive session this evening around the purchase or lease of real estate under RCW 4230-110-1B. And I'm recommending we have 20 minutes, which would have us returning at 6:55.
I move that we go into executive session for the stated purpose for 20 minutes, returning at 6:55 p.m.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
yawning.
I know. It's still daylight out, which is.
I know, that's nice, right?
I feel like I've had
Okay, you're good.
Okay, we're gonna extend the executive session 5 more minutes. We will be out at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thanks, Brett.
We are out of executive session. There was no action taken, and I adjourn this meeting.
That was amazing. Look at, well, done.